Imagine this. You're having a great conversation with a woman, making jokes, hitting it off, then bam! One awkward comment and the whole vibe shifts. What just happened? You just committed one of the 9 cardinal sins of interacting with women, and you didn't even know it. Think you're a champion of gender equality? Think again. Even the most well-meaning of us can fall into subtle and not-so-subtle traps that disrespect or harm women. Ready to level up your interactions? Let's explore the 9 things men should not do with women. There was a time when I, Mr. Feminist Ally Extraordinaire, accidentally mansplained period cramps to my girlfriend. Let's just say it wasn't my shining moment, but that awkward experience got me thinking, what other seemingly harmless things might I be doing that are actually harmful? Today, we're unpacking the 9 things I learned men should not do when interacting with women. 1. Making unwanted assumptions. Untangling the mental spaghetti and why you need to. Imagine you're at a party talking to a woman about her career. You assume she's a teacher based on her outfit, only to find out she's a software engineer. Oops, assumptions can lead to awkward moments, but worse, they can reinforce harmful stereotypes and limit women's potential. Assumptions can manifest as microaggressions, subtle but harmful comments or actions that demean or invalidate women's experiences. Explain how these microaggressions, even unintentional, can chip away at self-esteem and create a hostile environment. Emphasize that assumptions about women are often rooted in systemic sexism and gender bias. Discuss how these biases influence things like hiring practices, pay gaps, and even everyday interactions. 2. Mansplaining. The art of unrequested instruction, and why you should ditch it. Imagine a caveman, club in hand, trying to explain fire to a modern-day scientist. See, you take this rock, smash it with record scratch. That's mansplaining, folks. We might not be dragging knuckles on the ground anymore, but the urge to explain woman stuff to women can be strangely persistent. Remember that time you, with all your male wisdom, tried to explain menstrual cramps to your girlfriend? Yeah, not your finest hour. Mansplaining, even with the best intentions, can come across as condescending and, frankly, unnecessary. Explain that mansplaining often stems from good intentions, but good intentions without understanding can do more harm than good. Encourage viewers to truly hear what women are saying before jumping to offer advice. Listen with your ears, your eyes, and maybe even your heart, you could say. Instead of assuming you know what's best, encourage viewers to ask open-ended questions and genuinely seek to understand the woman's perspective. Sometimes, the best advice is simply, "I'm here for you," and a listening ear, you could add. 3. Word salad of awkwardness. Navigating the minefield of inappropriate comments. You're having a great conversation with a woman, cracking jokes, feeling the vibe. Then one comment lands with a thud, silence ensues, and your brain screams, "Abort! Abort!" We've all been there, navigating the tricky terrain of social interactions. But when comments veer into inappropriate territory, things can get messy. Use clear and concise language to explain what constitutes an inappropriate comment. Mention sexist jokes, body shaming, objectification, and unwanted sexual advances as clear examples. Briefly discuss the harmful impact of such comments, emphasizing how they can make women feel disrespected, uncomfortable, and even unsafe. Use real-life examples to illustrate the emotional and psychological consequences. 4. The silent ear. Why validating women's voices matters. Imagine a woman speaking passionately, her face etched with concern, while a man dismissively waves his hand, not bothering to truly listen. This visual can instantly captivate viewers and set the tone for the topic. State clearly the importance of taking women's concerns and experiences seriously. Explain how dismissing or discrediting women's voices can be incredibly harmful, leading to feelings of invalidation, isolation, and distrust. Active listening is key. Show a clip or image of a man practicing attentive listening, leaning in, making eye contact, and nodding thoughtfully. Use the image to emphasize the importance of nonverbal cues alongside focused attention. Provide examples of how to actively listen and validate women's emotions without interrupting or minimizing. Use phrases like, "I hear you," "That sounds difficult," and "I can understand why you feel that way." Address the tendency to explain or offer solutions before truly understanding the issue. Encourage men to ask clarifying questions, seek clarification, and offer support instead of unsolicited advice. 5. Green light, red light, navigating the consent spectrum. Use a straightforward but powerful image, like a green traffic light, alongside the text, "Consent, enthusiastic yes." Explain that consent is not the absence of a no, but an active, freely given agreement to any physical or emotional interaction. Emphasize that respecting consent is non-negotiable. It's fundamental to building healthy, respectful relationships and preventing harm. Explain that ignoring consent can have serious consequences, like emotional distress, trauma, and even legal repercussions. Introduce the concept of pressuring and assuming consent, symbolized by a red traffic light. Use real-life examples or relatable scenarios to illustrate how pressure tactics like persistence, guilt-tripping, or intimidation can manipulate someone into an unwanted interaction. Explain that relying on non-verbal cues or assuming consent based on past interactions is dangerous. Show a split image with contrasting expressions, highlighting the difficulty of accurately interpreting someone's comfort level through non-verbal cues alone. Encourage viewers to create and respect healthy boundaries, both their own and others. Emphasize the importance of open communication about comfort levels and respecting no at any time, without question or judgment. And 6. The comparison game, why women aren't trophies to compete for a woman in a power suit leading a meeting, another relaxing at home in sweats, and another enjoying a night out with friends. Ask viewers why we tend to compare these different scenes and women within them. Clearly state that comparing women based on appearance, achievements, or relationship status is harmful and disrespectful. It reduces them to stereotypes, invalidates their individuality, and fuels competition and insecurity. Show how comparing women to others in their lives, friends, family, celebrities, can create tension, jealousy, and unrealistic expectations. Share stories of how such comparisons impact women's self-esteem and sense of worth. Explain how the tendency to compare stems from systemic sexism and unrealistic beauty standards. Discuss how these pressures negatively affect both women and men, fostering unhealthy competition and anxiety. 7. The invisible bubble, navigating personal space with respect. Two people are chatting at a party. One person subtly leans in, while the other unconsciously steps back. Use this visual or a similar one to introduce the concept of personal space and its importance in interactions. Explain that everyone has a personal space bubble, an invisible zone around them that defines their comfort level for physical contact. Emphasize that respecting this bubble is crucial for building trust and maintaining healthy relationships. Use illustrations or short clips to depict various scenarios of unwanted physical contact, like lingering hugs, shoulder pats, or inappropriate touching. Explain how even seemingly harmless gestures can cause discomfort and violate someone's boundaries. Just like with physical intimacy, emphasize the need for consent before initiating any physical contact. Encourage viewers to always ask permission before touching someone, even for a handshake or a friendly pat on the back. Address the tendency to misinterpret or ignore non-verbal cues of discomfort. Use images or videos to showcase subtle signs like fidgeting, crossed arms, leaning away, or tense body language. Remind viewers that a no always means no, regardless of the reason or non-verbal cues. 8. Backseat driver to co-pilot, supporting women's journeys, not controlling them. A couple arguing about a major life decision, the man pushing his opinion while the woman expresses hesitation. Use this to highlight the common issue of men trying to dictate women's choices. State clearly that women have the right to make their own choices about their lives, careers, relationships, and everything in between. Support their autonomy and self-determination as a fundamental principle of healthy relationships. Explain how controlling behavior, whether overt or subtle, can be harmful and damaging to a relationship. Examples include pressuring career choices, dictating spending habits, or making decisions without considering the woman's desires. Encourage men to see themselves as partners in women's journeys, supporting their individual growth and aspirations. Celebrate their successes and empower them to overcome challenges on their own terms. 9. The growth mindset, embracing feedback and becoming a better ally. Share a personal story of a time you accidentally made a mistake or exhibited one of the previously mentioned behaviors. Own up to it, explain how you learned from it, and emphasize that everyone makes mistakes, including men in their interactions with women. Frame the video as a conversation about continuous growth and development. State that becoming a better ally to women is an ongoing process that requires commitment to learning and evolving. Explain that receiving feedback, even critical feedback, is essential for growth. Encourage men to view feedback as an opportunity to learn and improve, not as personal attacks. Encourage viewers to truly listen to feedback from women without defensiveness or interruption. Emphasize the importance of understanding the perspective and experiences behind the feedback. Thank women for sharing their perspectives and experiences, even if they're critical. Acknowledge the courage it takes to speak up and emphasize your commitment to learning from their insights. Take a moment right now to reflect on what you've learned today. Could there be a behavior you didn't realize was harmful? Is there an area where you can be a more active listener, a more supportive partner, or a better ally in general? Now, commit to taking action. Maybe it's having an open conversation with a woman in your life, choosing your words more carefully, or seeking out additional resources to educate yourself. Every small step counts. Equity starts with empathy. Open your heart, open your mind, and create a world where everyone thrives.